Just when you think Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's week couldn't get worse, it has. The Globe and Mail, in an explosive report, is talking about how the former Justice Minister, Jody Wilson-Raybould, was asked by the Prime Minister's office to intervene with a corruption and fraud prosecution of Montreal and engineering construction giant SNC-Lavalin Group with a corruption and potentially fraud case. This is pretty extraordinary. Amanda Galbraith is with me. I want to talk a little bit about what the potential political fallout is of this. It sounds scandalous. Some people are even throwing around some pretty significant language about the actions of the Prime Minister's office, asking the Justice Minister to intervene, who, by the way, was then moved out of cabinet a couple of months later. So from your view, is this the big scandal that we're making it out to be? How bad is this?
I mean, I think the big thing is that this is the first real meaty issue that the Trudeau government has faced, kind of direct or talking about involvement of their staff. And the thing important to understand is that they actually do have the authority to intervene or to look at when you prosecute these cases. That being said, it smells. And, you know, this is different from wearing fancy outfits in India. This is actually talking about a real material case with an important business in Canada, and we don't know what's going on. The story is developing by the minute.
So as it continues to develop, we will bring you the latest. But this is, again, one of those sorts of situations where the Prime Minister's office going in, it may not be a conflict, but when often, as we know in politics, if there's a potential perceived conflict, that might be quite bad enough. But let's talk about the fallout for the former Justice Minister. She was shuffled out of cabinet recently, and there was a lot of questions around why. Could this be part of the reason? She pushed back from the Prime Minister's office and said, no, I'm not going to intervene.
Yeah, and there certainly are sources saying that, in fact, this was a key part of the reason that she was shuffled out. Whether that remains to be true, we'll see as the story develops. But again, you know, politically, she's the first Indigenous cabinet minister. She's a high-profile female cabinet minister. For a government that relies strongly on those are two key, values for them. This is a challenging file on multiple levels. And as a political issue leading into a major election campaign, you know, they've got to be thinking, how do I handle this?
And so as far as the political fallout continues, for the opposition parties, particularly for Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives, should they be asking for an inquiry? What should they be doing right now?
Yeah, they'll go hog wild, right? So they'll be up in question period shouting. They'll be doing press conferences. They'll be all over social media about it. You'll see memes, that kind of stuff, because this is the kind of thing that opposition parties love, that they love to leverage. And it also differentiates, you know, the little guy from, you know, the fat cats and whatever.
Going back a few years, considering how the Nigel Wright, Mike Duffy scandal unfolded, it's a bit almost hypocritical for the Liberals right now. I mean, they went to town on the Conservatives. And that was Nigel Wright actually trying to pay taxpayers back. I mean, not similar situation, I understand, but certainly along the lines of, you know, questionable behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, when you're in these big jobs and these big offices, these sorts of scenarios present themselves, right? And how the government handles it is going to be important. But I think much like the Liberals roll over the Conservatives, the Conservatives are going to be all over the Liberals.
The shine continues to wear off on Justin Trudeau. Will this have a political impact? Log on to Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.